It's been nearly a month since Kentucky Senior Senator Mitch McConnell was rushed to a Washington, D.C. hospital. The back and forth on how he's doing and what the public should know continue to grow. Governor Andy Beshear sent a letter to McConnell's office Wednesday asking for a health update amid, quote, growing concerns around the senator's ability to serve. Meanwhile, it's been more than a week since McConnell's team released a statement saying he continues to improve. The Hill reported earlier this month that paramedics went to the McConnell's D.C. home after a report of an unconscious person who appeared to suffer cardiac arrest.
We should have our privacy when it comes to intimate health issues, but at the same time, when you take a position of public service, it's important to be as transparent as possible. Being able to show pictures or video, having an opportunity to hear directly from him. If he's not able to talk on air, at least, send a message.
Senate President Robert Stiver says he's texted with McConnell, and Kentucky-based CNN commentator Scott Jennings tweeted this week he had a nearly 20-minute phone call with McConnell. Trey, let's start with you. The elephant in the room. Why is Andy Beshear calling on the office to update Kentuckians about their senator?
Because he's running for president, and many Democrats nationally don't like Senator McConnell. You have a fair number of just ghoulish people online who are actively cheering for him to either die or for him to be dead, and I think Andy Beshear is playing into that because it scores some points in this political campaign. It's that simple.
Jared?
Well, I mean, like Jonathan Miller discussed in the clip we just saw, there is a fine line between respecting somebody's privacy while they're going through a medical treatment, and then the fact that that person also represents 4 million Kentuckians, and the 4 million Kentuckians elected him to do a job, and I do believe that they have a right to have a little more information than what's been given.
Is this different than any other time that a public official has been out of office for a series of health reasons? Yeah,
because he could solve everybody. All questions could be answered with a 5-second clip. That's all it would take. Now, Trey will say that's AI, blah, blah, blah. There are reasonable people to say, just 5 seconds. Just give me 5 seconds. That's all I need. I want to know when's he going to be back, how he's feeling, if he, stuff like that. But that's it. Nobody needs access to his mic chart or anything.
The problem is the noisy people are not the reasonable people.
That's fair.
They are the unreasonable people, and they will say, if it's Mitch McConnell holding a newspaper and holding a cell phone showing the time and date, the unreasonable people are going to say that's AI. He really is dead. And by the way, this is the problem with the Laura Loomer, ultra MAGA people,
yeah,
and the far
left. It's not just on the dim side.
Oh yeah, it's like that handshake meme. You're not at the bottom of the circle with the far right MAGA and the far left liberals. Both kind of in the same bucket here. At the end of the day, I think next week it becomes a slightly different situation. Senator McConnell missed it on the front end. He missed a couple of days of actual Senate session, missed only a small handful of votes. The biggest one would have been the housing bill vote, but that passed with far more votes than it needed. No votes have really needed him to be there. When they come back into session, and the Senate's been out of session since then, when they come back in next week, one of the big items is the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. Senator McConnell is the chair of the Subcommittee of Appropriations for Military Affairs. He needs to be involved in that process. I would suspect that you might see some more information from that, but we saw stuff starting to leak out. News Nation had a report that the reason he's still at the hospital is he's mentally fine. Everything, the doctors feel like he's too physically weak at the moment, which is a lot of time. When you're elderly and you have these situations, you're in the hospital, it would require rehab. Most situations you send to a place like here in Lexington to Cardinal Hill. This guy's one of the most powerful politicians in the country. There's security concerns, privacy concerns. I suspect that's probably why they still have him in the hospital. It's easier to ensure those concerns in the hospital and still provide that occupational therapy that's needed for the rehab process. I suspect that's probably what's going on. Again, I don't know. I haven't talked to the senator, but I suspect that we'll probably find out more next week when the Senate's actually back in session.
Jared, are Democrats hoping to make a play if, for some reason, Senator Mitch McConnell is unable to fulfill his term?
And Trey has said this before. Sometimes we talked about this. There are probably some national Democrats that don't understand that even if there was a special election and somehow a Dem won or the governor appointed a Democrat, they're done serving January 1st. Whoever wins the Barr Booker election, Barr will be the U.S. Senator come January 1st, barring something crazy. Nothing can really be done. So I don't understand. For people that don't understand how Kentucky works, or where Kentucky is in its election cycle, I don't think it matters.
The most likely scenario here is Andy Beshear has another opportunity to score national points. He appoints a Democrat who would be in violation of the current state law for him to appoint. But he would argue, just as we're going to talk later with the Fair Board, that law's against state constitution. He's going to appoint, send that person to D.C. They won't be sat. This will go to court. It probably won't even be resolved by election day. That person will never actually serve, and whoever is duly elected to a full term will be sworn in January 1st.
What's your prediction for how this plays out?
I think Senator McConnell is probably back in the Senate within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and we all freaked out over nothing.
Final thoughts, Jared?
5 seconds. Okay, answer all questions. Don't know why we're having all this palace intrigue.